Hey there everyone, Steve Gonzer, physical therapist with Run Smart Online, and I'm here again live for like the fourth time this year to talk about smarter training. And I want to kind of expand upon something that was really important in the last one that I shot yesterday, which is stronger hips. Now, in the clinic, we'll call them stronger hips, a stronger butt, stronger glutes, but it's all the same thing. Your hip, you have your front hip, your back hip. Anyways, you need strong hips. So I want to show you kind of what we're talking about. Yeah, a really neat thing. I'm going to actually give you a little teaser on this. We're going to be talking about this right here. I'm going to be able to dive down, get this cool animation to show you, and I'm actually going to be showing you the hips, showing you the glutes, and why they're so important. Now, before we do that, I want to back up a little bit because so many of us are getting ready to train. This is how this whole journey started. Is I'm getting just around to back into training after a December of cookies and booze and family, and I started to get training, and we talked about getting prepped for your year. You can't be just starting January and be like, that's the day I'm going to start training. And then we started getting into the build-ins. And if you want to watch all the previous videos, just go to the Facebook page for Run Smart Online, and you can just go to the videos tabs, and you'll see those right up top. It's going to be the only videos we're posting this month, so it'll be really easy to find. Then we went in to talk about strength training. So I'm going to go through this quick again, just so we can see this. Let's recap. So we're building training plans. This is how we generally do it for our runners, and I'll show you some of the results we're getting with this. But let's just say, I've been talking about half marathons a lot, but let's talk about full marathons. Let's say you're going to run, we're from Buffalo, so we love the Buffalo Marathon, which is May 26th. Let's say call it an 18-week plan. We have two options here. We're from the States, so we say miles. And maybe you want to run a 40-mile-a-week plan. You want that to start on Sunday, and let's make it a little bit easier. Desired finish time, we're going to break 3. And we talked about the fact, a couple different things. So we put this through some algorithms and some different things to build you this plan of a system that works. But I want to talk about these cross-train days a little bit more. So we build these in, and what we do is we generally go in here and say, that's a rest day, let's go to here, basics day 2, and I talked about this the other day. So we have these strength workouts built in, but for you, it's all about focusing on hip and core strength early on. You want to build that foundation, and that's what all yesterday was about. And we talked about also hip strength, butt strength, glute strength, and I want to show you in the model, because this is really where the results start to come. It's when you train smarter, and you have strength training that marries that, and it works out very well for people who can do it right. And when I talk about strength training, you've heard me probably say this before, it is not leg lifts, it's not bridges, it's not clamshells. It is strength training that looks and feels like running. So we want to make sure that we're looking and feeling like running in our training. If you're watching this, you have questions, go ahead and drop me some questions below, because I'm going to be doing these Facebook Lives all night. So, all month, not all night. I think you guys would be pretty sick of me if I did that. So I'm going to go in, and I want to just show you this piece right here. So I'm going to let this play through a little bit. I'm just going to move it up just a touch, because if it's not centered, I won't sleep at night. All my OCD people out there can reckon with that. So let's just watch this model run. We want to really start looking at what is the function of the body? So let's just go ahead and stop this here. I like to do this real quick, because if we look, I got my mouse pointer here, you can see that this foot's on the ground, this foot's in swing phase. Now, the point of contact for most people is, it doesn't matter if you're a heel striker or not. Let's just back this guy up. He's going to come down with a mid-foot strike, but let's say you're a heel striker. It doesn't matter. The point of maximum load for any runner is when the foot's right underneath them, and that's where you're going to get the most load. So think about your strength training for a second. This is why it's so important that clamshells are not going to do you much good, because the foot's on the ground. And what is the glutes? Let's just talk about the glutes. I'm going to go ahead and spin this around, a little creepy here, but oh boy, I'm not very good at steering this. We're going to be a little off kilter, so the OCD is definitely going to be a problem. I'm going to try to fix it. Whatever. All right, so let's bring this down a little bit. We're going to look right at the butt. We know that this left leg is on the ground. So we have a glute here, this is glute max. We have glute medius, which is underneath this, and let's go ahead and just dissect these out. I want to show you guys what's underneath here. You see all these deep hips, okay? So you have, let's see, we have glute min, we have some piriformis here, we have some deep external rotators, but all these things make a difference, because when you are running, your foot is on the ground and you need to you need to train your muscles that way. So what are these hip muscles doing? They're all attached to the pelvis. The thigh bone is fixed. So you want to have these muscles fire to stabilize your pelvis and your hip. And what's happening when you're on the ground, laying down, doing a leg lift? You're moving your leg on your body and not your body on your leg. This is why when people preach about runner-specific strengthening, they're talking about maybe doing some hip strength, but does the hip strength look like running? And most of the time it does not. So put yourself through the test. If you have a strength program, does it look like this? You have these big glute muscles and you slop one away, you have another glute underneath. There's 3 of them on each side. Then you have these deep external rotators. They function by stabilizing the pelvis when you're on one foot. So you should be managing that with your strength training. Now, a lot of things that we end up doing is single leg training for those that can tolerate that. If you're not good enough in strength for one leg on the ground, we tend to do 2 legs on the ground, which would be some squatting, then progressing to lunging, and then eventually single leg activity. Simple test. If you can't stand on one foot, you definitely need some work. I have so many patients that come in and they're just, I ask them to just stand on a foot and they say, well, my balance has never been very good. Well, that's not an excuse. In your strength training should really kind of help you with that. It's going to be beneficial. So when you start thinking about your strength training, think about what's going to be best for you, and it is this specific stuff here. So this is one of our strength programs that's just a little bit of core, but when you start to do this right, and you start to, let's go back, you start to marry a smart training plan that's really heavy in base training early on. Let's actually look at this. I'm going to go ahead a little bit. Let's go in the month of February. We have a lot of base early on. Look at base, 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 base. Here's some tempo, base, base, race pace, base. Tons of base early in our training. This is how we run our training plans because you want to build up that strength early in your training. And then these cross trainings, some rest in here. These cross training days are your strengthening days. So don't be skipping these because this is what happens when you can have a good plan and a good strength plan. This is a runner that posted to us recently. And you can see she ran a marathon. This was her first Boston qualifying run. But look at these splits. I'm going to go ahead and let's open this up a little bit. So by training a little bit smarter, you can see she started off at an 8:09 for the first 5K. Now watch her slowly and slowly. And what I really like is look at her position improve. She's reeling in 200 runners, 100 runners, another 40. There's 80, and her times just keep dropping as she continues to run. So she started off in the first 5K at 31:54, and then you get down to 24:55. She passed 600, 700 runners in this race, and her times just got faster. She finished at 3:28 with a 5K over 5K negative split. Very difficult to do. You can't, truthfully, it's more than just training and strength training. You have to run a little smart. You can't go out like a bat out of hell and expect that stuff to happen. But this runner got this by training smarter. And she went on and even talked about this with us, and she saw a lot of the member progress in our group for our runners. She was super excited to share hers. At the California International Marathon at CIM, she got a PR and a BQ with a taper of 5-minute intervals at marathon pace. Worked like a charm. And what she's talking about there, so if you look at this and you see the taper with 5-minute intervals at marathon pace, worked like a charm. What that means is we have that built into our plans. I'll kind of allude to that later in future videos and how you can use that in your own training, but we taught her how to dial in pace in our training plans. So when she gets towards race day, you're running a lot of marathon pace, but in small bites, and I have a little strategy for that. But paired with good strength training, a good training plan, and smart racing, because that is super important as well, you can have these results. The key thing is you can't be running more mileage every week, speed workouts every week. You will get faster, but you're elevating your risk for injury significantly, especially, I always say over age of 40, people hate that, but you're a little bit more increased risk for injury. It's not like you're, going home from work and putting your feet up because you have no responsibilities. So train smart. Think about these things when you're going through. Look at your own plan. Start making these changes because they will make a huge difference. No more clamshells, no more bridges. If you'd like us to do this for you, I think I left a link in the comments. That's runsmartonline.com/train. You can actually try this out for a dollar, build your plan, see what it looks like, and get access to all the strength plans that we use to help runners get better. And it's something we've been doing for over a decade as physical therapists here at Run Smart. So hopefully this helped you guys, made you understand that clamshells and bridges and leg lifts are not the way to go. You want to progress from double legs, which are like squats, to single legs, which are more lunging type activities, to single leg activities and strength activities. We're going to talk more about this in the coming days. I'm going to be continuing this on all month. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you know a runner who could benefit from this, I appreciate you if you could share this. And if you want us to help you out, go to runsmartonline.com/train and you can try it out for $1. Hope everyone has a great night, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.